Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome back to our YouTube channel once again. And it is my hope and prayer that this video is actually going to find you guys in good health. Personally, I am fine. Kisumu is also fantastic. And maybe you could also let me know where you are watching the video from. The county or the country in case you are out of the republic. Ladies and gentlemen, there is one question which most political pundits are currently asking in this republic. Whether William Samoei Arap Ruto, the fifth president of the Republic of Kenya, is losing the grip of the mountain. As a matter of fact, yesterday, William Ruto was in Meru County and Kiambu County. But one thing was very clear, that the people of the mountain are no longer excited about the presence of William Ruto the way they used to be. In Meru, you could clearly tell from the crowd that they were not interested at all by the presence of William Samoei Arap Ruto. But what shocked me most was William Ruto's presence in Githunguri and how the residents there reacted to their member of parliament, Honorable Gathoni Wamuchomba. So in this video, I want us to look at how Wamuchomba actually managed to outwit William Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua in Githunguri, because ahead of that particular trip, it was expected that William Ruto and the team were going to sideline the Githunguri member of parliament, which they did. But as protocol would dictate, Wamuchomba had to speak, and he was cheered widely. At some point, William Ruto was actually jeered by the same people after he talked about the finance bill. Let me just play for you this particular short clip, which was prepared by the Daily Nation, just very briefly, before I give you the reasons why I think Wamuchomba actually outwitted Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua during that particular event.
Kuu ya siku ni kwamba mbunge wa Githunguri Gathoni Wamuchomba amesema kamwe hatatetereka katika misimamo yake ya kutetea watu wake licha ya shinikizo za kisiasa tangu apige kura bungeni kupinga mswada wa fedha wa mwaka 2023. Wamuchomba ambaye ni mbunge wa chama tawala cha UDA alisema hayo leo mbele ya Rais William Ruto ambaye ni kinara wa chama hicho huko eneo bunge lake la Githunguri wakati wa ziara ya kukutana na wadau wa sekta ya maziwa. Mwanahabari wetu Margaret Kimathi na maelezo zaidi.
Rais William Ruto alikuwa Githunguri kwa hafla ya washirika wa chama cha wakulima wa maziwa kaunti ya Kiambu. Miongoni mwa waliomkaribisha rais ni mbunge wa Githunguri Gathoni Wamuchomba ambaye majuzi alikaidi agizo la kinara wake wa UDA Rais Ruto na kupiga kura ya kupinga mswada wa fedha wa mwaka 2023. Bila shaka ziara ya rais hapa ilikuwa ratili ya kisiasa pia kwa Wamuchomba kuhusiana na hisia za wenyeji kwa msimamo wake kidete, na hakutetereka, aliguruma kama simba jukwani.
Asanteni sana kwa kuniombea, na mimi ninaapa ya kwamba nitafanya kazi yangu kama mjumbe bila kuogopa na bila kuingiza baridi. Asanteni sana.
Naye rais alipopanda jukwani,
wabunge wote wamepiga kura kuseme wacha tupange ajira ya hawa vijana. Ni kweli ama si kweli? Mpaka wabunge wa upinzani wamekubali kwamba hii mpango yetu ni sawa. Sasa tuendelee na hiyo barabara ama mnasemaje? Sikia ati nyinyi watu wa Githunguri mnasema hamtaki mambo ya ardhi. Mlisema hamtaki mambo ya ardhi. Mimi mnataka hawa vijana wengi barabarani, mtatoa wapi kazi ya kuwapatia?
Gathoni Wamuchomba amekuwa akidhihirisha ujasiri wa kuwa na msimamo kinzani na serikali katika masuala kadhaa, ikiwemo swala la kutetea sera ya mtu mmoja shilingi moja inayopigiwa debe eneo la Mlima Kenya. Rais alifika hapa Githunguri akitokea kaunti ya Meru ambapo alitangaza kuwa serikali yake imetenga shilingi milioni 400 kwa ajili ya kuanzisha kiwanda cha kuhifadhi na kutingisha mbegu za kupanda na kuzalisha ng'ombe bora wanaotoa maziwa kwa wingi. Geoffrey Nyongesa, NTV.
No, that's Wamuchomba and William Ruto. And you could clearly tell from the body language of Kimani Ichung'wah, you could clearly tell from the body language of Rigathi Gachagua that something somewhere was wrong. And I know for sure that William Ruto and his team are now doing something because they are worried about why the ground favored Wamuchomba. And the second thing they're worried about is whether there is something which Kenya Kwanza is not doing right. I want us to look at why probably the mountain is drifting from William Ruto. Before you do that, in case you're watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click that subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support, because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is now. Without any further ado, let us dive in. And let me ask you this question. How did William Ruto manage to outweight Uhuru Kenyatta in the mountain? Because by the time we were going for election in 2013, Uhuru Kenyatta was the darling of the mountain. In fact, they used to refer to Uhuru Kenyatta as the anointed one. In 2017, it was the same. Then Uhuru Kenyatta entered into the handshake. And that handshake actually changed the political equation completely. Then from nowhere, the people of the mountain started drifting away from Uhuru Kenyatta. And they started embracing William Ruto. As a matter of fact, by that time, most people interpreted the shift to Raila Amolo Odinga, that the Kikuyu nation really don't love Raila Amolo Odinga. They hate him. So it was understandable. And I've always opined on this platform that if the Kikuyu nation could dump Uhuru Kenyatta, if they could make Uhuru Kenyatta their worst enemy, what do you think will stop the mountain from dumping William Samoei Arap Ruto? Nothing. And that's how I'm looking at the reception yesterday. And if William Ruto is not careful, whatever this thing you see Wamuchomba has started, that's how revolutions begin. So for me, Ruto is losing the grip of the mountain because, number one, there is a growing rebellion against Kenya Kwanza in the mountain. And Wamuchomba understood this. And that's why even ahead of this event, Wamuchomba would go to the ground, listen to the people. And she realized that there was kind of rebellion against Kenya Kwanza. She took advantage of it and came out publicly to oppose this bill. She read the mood. So I tend to think that there is a growing rebellion in the mountain against William Ruto. And I've always stated this severely. And William Ruto and his team, I'm sure they're doing something about it. But if they are not doing anything about it, what befell Uhuru Kenyatta is going to fall on them, but very badly. So for me, I tend to think that if you look at the Mount Kenya politics, the way they used to embrace Ruto, and now the way they're behaving, clearly there is some growing rebellion. The only problem is that as much as they are rebelling against Kenya Kwanza, they are yet to find an alternative. Because the alternative to William Ruto cannot be Raila Odinga. That alternative to William Ruto cannot be the group of Jeremiah Kioni. So that is the only thing which is still there holding them. But if they can find an alternative, I'm sure that rebellion is going to grow. And probably that is the biggest worry that Wamuchomba can make it happen. Number two, there is the narrative in the mountain is now stale. And I think that's also what Wamuchomba used to outwit them. You know, if you were telling the mountain about Raila Odinga for 5 years before you got to power, you accused Raila Odinga of all the problems you are facing on this earth. Then you get the opportunity, Raila Odinga is no longer in power. Then you still blamed him. Then people said, okay, let's give him time, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months. Then you still go to them. And when you get opportunity, the only thing you talk about is handshake, is Raila Odinga, is BBI. You know, those stories are now stale. They are emerging issues which are now important to the people. Things like cost of living, cost of hunger, things like milk, you know, those things. So the fact that these guys would always come and talk about the same thing it means the locals or the individuals down there are no longer interested in whatever they are telling them. The story is now stale. The narrative is no longer exciting. Wamuchomba understood that very clearly. And that is what Ruto and Rigathi failed to understand. Number 3, in my view, is the state of economy in this country. I don't know whether you guys feel it, but if you move around, you go to supermarket today, just go to the supermarket and line up. You'll see people picking 1, 2, 3 things, and then at the counter there. Nowadays, in most cases, you'd see someone removing a butoayo because the amount of money he has is not enough. Because, previously you'd have 1,000, then you'd go to supermarket, buy A, B, C, D, and you'll be sure that will be 800, you'll expect change. Nowadays, if you go with the same, you realize you have to return an item. You no longer get the change. You return an item. Ebu toa hii, tungoje, toa hii. Because the state of economy, everybody is now suffering. Then you still go there and you tell them about 2027. People are not interested. And that's the secret which Wamuchomba identified and aligned herself with. And that's why when she was speaking, she was actually speaking the language of the people. Number 4, the mood. I think William Ruto is failing to read the mood of his supporters. And it began with the finance bill. When finance bill was introduced and it was being debated, William Ruto made it appear as if it is a problem of those who are working only. He forgot that there's a percentage of people who are not employed. So Wamuchomba did something. He went and read the mood and tailored her speech to the mood of the people. Then the people were able to listen to her. People were able to cheer her. When Rigathi and the other guys were speaking, people were gloomy. But for Wamuchomba, she was able to read the mood, then tailored her speech towards that mood. So everything she was talking about, people were in agreement. And because people were cheering her, that's how she ended up introducing that aspect that allow me to work as a member of parliament. For example, listen to Wamuchomba here briefly before we proceed.
Ulisema ukiingia hiyo itakuwa priority yako na pamoja. Kabisa. We'll be glad kama contractor atamaliza hiyo barabara, na tunashukuru kwa heshima yako Your Excellency. Contractor amerudi kwa barabara, ameanza kulima, ameanza kutengeneza, lakini bado analemewa kidogo. Your Excellency, hapa Githunguri population yetu ni 600,000 residents. Wale watu wanaishi hapa kwa sababu ya ile kazi inafanywa na Githunguri Daily. Hatuna hospitali kubwa. Ile ambayo tulikuwa tunajenga bado haijamalizika. Your Excellency, hiyo hospitali ikimalizika tutafurahia sana kwa sababu hatutakuwa tunaenda Kiambu ama Katondo kutafuta hospitali. Kwa heshima yako na kuomba hiyo hospitali imalizike. Nikimalizia Your Excellency, ningetaka kukujulisha ya kwamba hapa tuko wakulima wa maziwa na wakulima wa kahawa. Na bei ya kahawa na maziwa imeenda kahawa na majani chai imeenda chini sana. The only thing remaining is our milk. Lakini Your Excellency, kama chairman amesema hapa, ng'ombe zetu zilikufa 80,000 cows zilikufa kwa sababu ya foot and mouth disease. Wakulima wamejaribu sana kurudisha, lakini tuko na shida. Ingawa tumefungua mipaka yetu, maziwa ya Uganda ikuje Kenya, tumefungua maziwa itoke Rwanda ama pahali pengine, iko moja inatusugua sana kwa sababu imetumalizia soko yetu ya maziwa, na hiyo maziwa inatoka Uganda. Hiyo maziwa imevamia soko yote ya maziwa ya fresha, na wakulima wetu wameanza kuona moto. Your Excellency, na kuomba kwa heshima kubwa sana. Ingawa
And lastly, and this is something which I think Ruto will take it seriously, that Kenya Kwanza is currently considered a failed government. That it has failed in so many fronts. There are so many things they promised, not happening. And the government is becoming unpopular each and every single day. Today I was just reading about the scandal. Mafuta ya kupika, which is expensive. At the global market, the rates were so high in 2022, March there, when the cost almost tripled. Currently, the cost is at its lowest, which means the cost of mafuta ya kupika should be down kabisa. But that's not happening. It's one of the headlines in the stories. And it's emerging that some people somewhere actually made a killing through that deal. So those who expected a lot of goodies from the government are not seeing it. And because of perceived failure of Kenya Kwanza government, most people are no longer interested. You rather go ahead and do your stuff than waste your time to listen to Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua talking about the same thing. I don't know what to think. That's my take. Thank you guys, and may you have a good day. Bye-bye.